Hello everyone and welcome to another Come Fly With Me with Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo. Now before you go on and start saying, oh damn, another X-Plane video, where's all her Star Citizen content? Let me just start by saying this is just a calm before the storm and not a switch away from Star Citizen at all. There's content out there, but most of the content actually is about, it's coming, really it's coming, here's some features, it's coming, just be patient. So in the meantime, I've been building scenery for X-Plane. And this is Dobbins Air Base. It's a, it's actually the home of Lockheed Martin's C-130J program, where they assembled the F-22, where they're currently doing upgrades or midlife breakdown and replacement of sections of fuselage and wing for the C-5As. It's also a home of an Army helicopter squadron, and well, it actually has a lot of things that have been changing on it. Two of the runways have been totally destroyed, well, not destroyed, just taken over by the C-130J production and C-5A, I guess you want to call it rehabilitation. In the game, this is no more than just a solid, long, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 foot long runway with just a very mediocre taxiway. So I came in here and my idea was to make it look more realistic. So as we go over, you can see the ortho scenery below. There's some other nations' C-130s over there. There's actually a couple of things over on the grass over there too, and I don't know why. There's C-5As down there, C-130s. And I'm going to try to get most of this into the game, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. Over in the distance is where the Army has their helicopters. And over to the right is where the F-22 production took place. A lot of construction going over there. Not sure if it has anything to do with the Trump decision to try to get them to build more F-22s. But nonetheless, this is what I've been up to. And here I am back in my Cirrus SR-20. Such a beautiful aircraft, booting up the systems. It happens a little bit quicker than it does in real life, but that sacrifice was made for realism versus fun. So the fun factor won out there and realism didn't. But there's a lot of other aircraft like there's many airliners in the game. But if you're looking at GA aircraft, if you just look at the startup sequence for the Cessna 172 by Airfoil Labs, which I'm giving away today to Mr. P.T. Johnson, and I'll tell you how to get in touch with me later. All right. The startup sequence in that is very realistic. The startup sequence in this is moderately realistic. The startup sequence in Star Citizen is simple and easy, and you jump right in. I wish there was some kind of a switch over in Star Citizen to having things be more like this. You go in, you hit a couple of switches, you have a checklist, you take off, and that there was an easy mode for people that just want arcade and really don't understand all the wonderful work that's gone into Star Citizen for making it as realistic as they could. But I wish I could have some more realistic way of using these StarCraft inside of Star Citizen. But the Cirrus is the closest that I'm going to get to being in a spaceship right now, because I have made a commitment to myself to not play 2.6 anymore until 3.0's PTU is launched. The biggest reason for that is been there, done that, and every time I go into it, I kind of get bored in a little while because I've been there and done that, and it starts making me not like the game so much. I've tried my best to become better at the FPS part, which is Star Marine, but I think I like flying better. So unless I'm playing with my girlfriends, with Sophie Girl and even Star, on Friday nights after our show, Lightspeed Lunatics, I don't think I'll be partaking in it. But X-Plane has offered me a challenge in mastering aircraft, in mastering different pieces of procedures, because it's all about procedures. But there's also something else. And it's why those of us that like Star Citizen are going to Star Citizen over EVE Online. It's because of this. Look out that mother blanking cockpit window. Alright, I know I'm flying over photos that are laid over topographical information gathered from satellites. And I know that these are just fake houses that don't really exist there. But this is the most realistic, most impressively realistic, and I'm a pilot in real life. I haven't flown in a bit, but I am a pilot. This is giving me that feeling. And Star Citizen gives me that feeling. So for those of you that are looking at me going, why is she moving away from Star Citizen? I am not. And I know CIG is going to deliver. It's just CIG has not delivered on the timeline that they have promised me, so I need to do something else. I need to be in something else other than Star Citizen that's going to make me love playing the game while I wait for the game I know I'm going to love to play. And I'm going to say it again. Every time I go in that game, I get bored, and I don't want that to be what I feel. I want to go back in and get that feeling I had the first day I jumped into my Aurora in that, I don't even know what it was called back then. It was the hangar that was the least built out, the least technically advanced. I eventually moved up to the deluxe hangar back then, but that feeling I got the first day of walking in there, of seeing the commercial for the Aurora up on the screen behind me, walking around the Aurora, jumping in the bed, I want that feeling again. And I know I'm going to get it in 3.0. And I know I'm going to get it each time they release more and more of the game. But to keep going into 2.6, to keep doing the same thing over and over again, to keep hearing, oh, buzz in the tower, oh, isn't this great? I just can't do it. By the way, what I'm doing here is, I'm going to say it again, I'm building out this airport, and this airport is going to be amazing because it's the Air Reserve Base. When I'm done, it's going to look phenomenal. And I'll tell you about that as I start to mix in between Star Citizen and X-Plane on the way. So, I really don't want to be bored with it. But I am excited, and I'm watching things. And I keep reaching out to Ben and to Brian, but really, it's not right for me to reach out to Ben and Brian and Jeremiah Lee at all right now. Not even fair for me to reach out to Sandy. But as soon as 3.0 is out, all of those people are going to be on my show. And as soon as 3.0 is in Lee Ivacati's hands this weekend, I'll be getting more information, looking at photos, looking at gameplay, and giving you as much as I can about what's happening out there. I'll be following the bug reports and telling you what people are seeing. But personally, this is where I am right now, unless I get opportunities to do Star Citizen content. There's some people that keep putting out content, and all they're doing is reading and rereading and rehashing exactly the same freaking info that we get from the CIG videos. And that's okay. And I think it's okay. And some people do it rather religiously and consistently. But to me, it's like, it's not where I want to be right now. In the beginning, I did that because there was new information every week. But if you remember, I didn't just read the news. Because really, you could go to Star Citizen and you could look at what's going on. You could watch their videos. You could read it on the website. So why just rehash things? I used to give my opinion. And I used to go out on a limb in theorycraft and do things. Why does this ship matter? Like, why does the Nox matter? Why? Because Chris Roberts wants diversity in the game. When I look at this game, X-Plane, there's diversity here. It has the same business model as Star Citizen. You buy the game and you buy the ships aftermarket. But they do it better because they let other people build the ships. which I'm hoping Star Citizen will do at some point. But you could have a Cirrus, you could have a Cessna, you could have a Piper, you could have a 747-8, you could have an A380, you could have whatever you want in this game, and the whole freaking planet is modeled. You could fly around the world in 1-to-1 ratio, not 1-to-10. Okay? So, this is why I'm here. But I'm also here because of one thing that I didn't realize I was going to like doing. So there's, what, 19, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 airports around the world? I have no idea. But Lambda Research just has a few people relatively to the number of airports that are out there to build them out. So they give you tools to do it yourself. So I go to my home airport, it's just a single runway strip with a taxiway that's not even the same in real life, and it gets me annoyed. And then I read, oh, you could build out the airport. And I go in there and I start building out all the scenery to make it look like the real airport in real life. Now, why would I do that? Well, I would do it for a major reason. I would do that because I want to fly in a realistic world. Remember? Realism. Best damn space simulator ever. Realism. Realistic physics. Star Citizen has all that. I'm trying to lead you into the reasoning that I'm going back and forth between the two games now. And this is delivering it to me now. In a month, Star Citizen will be delivering it to me too. And I'll be able to fly my Aurora, my Hornet, my Sabre, my Gladius, my Gladiator, my Retaliator, my Constellation, all those different diverse set of aircraft that RSI made themselves. And I am going to, well, RSI, that's CIG made themselves. Yes, I'm going to split my time between the two sims. But I am not giving up on Star Citizen. I'm not moving away from Star Citizen. I am not going to stop YouTubing for Star Citizen. But what X-Plane has allowed me to do is to start my own Twitch channel and to start learning how to stream, to start becoming a more personable person, to start engaging in my, in my fans a little bit better. And it's also allowed me to realize that when 3.0 comes, I can't even say this right now, because it makes sense, and I don't know why it didn't make sense to me before. When it happens, 3.0 comes out, Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous is going to be splitting its time between streaming and doing YouTube videos. Of course, the YouTube videos will be my Ask Sandy, Ben's Day, my shows with Brian, with David Haddock, and the long-awaited and frequently postponed interviews that I have scheduled with a number of other developers because Ben just can't answer all the questions anymore. So I need to go find developers that can, because you are asking amazing questions on Star Citizen. And I really need to deliver for you. Here we go. We're going in. We're going in. And ooh, I almost clipped my wing on that thing. That was awesome. All these buildings I built out, by the way. Even the FedEx building that we're flying over right now, that parking lot, I built them out. I have found a second game that is going to keep my time, and that was impossible because I am the addicted gamer, and I am an ADD gamer. Look at all this, every aircraft placed. Dynamic aircraft spawn endpoints. ATC network created so they spawn in and follow the taxiways and go to the runway and take off. I've done all that. It's freaking awesome. And it's a close representation of what Cobb McComm looks like. And that's important for me when I'm flying in this world because I want it to be realistic. Like my space sim, I want it to be realistic. So Evocati is about ready to get Star Citizen version 3.0. There's absolutely nothing that I can't wait for more. That isn't driving me insane because I want it today more than 3.0 coming out. And I've said this forever. There's a certain point where even though the game is alpha, the alpha becomes the game. And what I mean by that is that right now we have a bunch of modules that are separated. And a couple of them are going to remain separated in 3.0 for some time, but they're going to come back in and be part of the game at some point. And that is going to be that the hangars are still going to be separate from the world that you play in, from the PTU. But they're still going to be part of it, and that you'll go in your hangar and then you'll move over to wherever the PTU is. But with 3.0 coming out, and I've said this over and over again, you all understand and you've all understood, it means that the game is moving forward to become the game that we want it to be. You finally have mission givers. You finally have a planetary system built out. You finally have multiple planets, multiple space stations, multiple moons, multiple things to do. You finally have an area big enough to put more people. You finally have an area big enough for people to start setting up as their home base. This is my home base. This is Georgia. This is where X-plane, this is where I fly out of and fly back to whenever I make a flight in this area. Even if I go to another airport, I spawn in that airport the next day and fly back to my home. So in Star Citizen, I'll be able to set up one of those places as my own base and just fly out of there, pick up missions and go do things. So 3.0 gives us the ability to say the game is moving forward, gives us the ability to look at all the naysayers and say, we knew all we had to do is wait, and it would be produced, and it would come. The biggest benefit of the way that they made this game, the most important benefit of the way that they made this game, and that's, it's taken a long time, there's been a lot of setbacks, there's been a lot of redos, so that's what I mean, the way they made this game, is that we get the game that we wanted. Now, Chris being a director is amazing. Chris being a producer has meant that there has been no time schedule. One of the biggest reasons that Star Citizen is getting built the way it is because if we put it in the hands of people that would have kept a timetable, we would never get that amazing, wonderful, incredible game that we always wanted. Isn't that nuts? I think that's nuts. Because people that keep to timetables tend to start cutting features. Games that keep timetables tend to change things for what's more monetarily important than what's visually and realistically and gameplay important. So, I'm going to say it again, I'm not moving away from Star Citizen. There's no way. Nothing is going to yank me away from it. But I hope those of you that have stuck around this long are able to see that what I'm doing might be boring to some, but it has a lot to do with that same draw, that same magnetic pull that Star Citizen has with me, which is I want the realism. I want to believe that I'm in that universe. I want to believe I'm part of it. But I want there to be diversity, and I want it to be as realistic as it can possibly be. Flight sims in the past for me, or like space sims in the past for me, sans the Wing Commander franchise, that has always been the best thing in the world because they made you want to be part of that story. But flight sims have always been that I like to fly. It's really cool. I do it for a little bit and I walk away from it. Because, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't look like that. Look at those clouds. Look at that scenery. Look at the way the aircraft moves through the air. It's just like jumping in my Sabre and shooting out to Yella and flying around the asteroids. It makes me believe. It's just like getting into my Mustang and jumping into an Arena Commander, Vandal Swarm, and shooting down the Vandal. It's believable. It's realistic. It's visually incredibly, amazingly awesome. And I find that I just love that. With this game, being able to follow the roads, like right off my left window over here. You see this road? It's right in the very bottom right corner. That road exists in real life. So if I'm using it as a checkpoint, it actually is a checkpoint that I can use for visual flight in this game. And this is another airport I built out. The first two, one was Dobbins, that's the one I'm working on now. The second one is my home airport, one that's close to where I live, that's in Kennesaw. It's called Cobb County International McCollum Field. This one is up in Cartersville. This one is called Cartersville Bartow Municipal Airport, I think. I'm coming in too fast. By the way, folks, this is where you laugh at me, and I want you to. Boom. 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 There you go. 3 booms. Alright. 4 booms. 5 booms. If I have anybody in the back, I'll pay for your dental work. Anyway, I can't, for the life of me, think of a reason why those of you that like Star Citizen can't understand why I like this game and why I've been playing it so much. I have not left you, my fans, behind. I have not left you, my fans, without information that's coming out of Cloud Imperium Games. And I will not break my commitment to all of you to bring you the best Star Citizen content that's available out there. Like I said, if you want me to read the news, I'll set up the green screen, I'll stand in front of you and read what CIG is saying every single day, every single week on their feed. But if you want me to be what I've been from the start, which is somebody that helped you through, why does it matter? What is the importance of this ship? Why do we have 3 torpedo boats? Why? Why do we have a Polaris? Why do we have a Retaliator? Why do we have an Eclipse? Why do we have a Gladiator? And it's all about diversity. All about diversity. It's all about making it a believable, livable universe. I'm the one that brings you that. Why? Why would you ever want a 325A? I mean, why would you want it now? That's the big question. But I trust Chris Smith is going to make it awesome. That's why. Because the 325A offers you a different ship other than the Hornet, other than the Gladius, other than the Sabre, other than the Mustang. It offers you another ship that has its personalizations. Maybe you're not a fighter. Maybe you're not a mercenary. Maybe you're just somebody that wants a fast ship with good weapons. Maybe you're just somebody that wants to go out there and protect your goods. Maybe you're hired by the owner of an 890 Jump. And obviously somebody with that much money wants beautiful ships protecting them. That makes sense to me. And I understand that. And Chris, again, wants the diversity. And I'm not just going to rip every single ship and say, oh, the Sabre's the best ship out there. Really? So what about the Buccaneer? Why do I do so good in the Buccaneer? It is going to be about what ship you like. In this game, this isn't really a game. It's a flight simulator. But I've got quite a number of plugins here right now. So this aircraft didn't come with it. This aircraft cost me $20. It's usually $27 or $28. This is the Cirrus SR-20. The Cirrus SR-20 might not be as good as the SR-22. It might not be as good as the Cessna in some cases, or the Piper Arrow, or the Piper Seneca, which has dual engines, or a Cessna 310. But it's one that I like, and one that I want to fly. So the diversity in this game matches the diversity that Chris Roberts is making in his. I just want to see this approach. This one I nailed. Now, the plugins I have loaded on this. So the game I talked about, the aircraft I talked about. Now, this aircraft, the designer didn't put that much immersion into it. So I'm using a product that increases the immersion factor. In other words, it adds wind sounds, shakes, bumps, grinds, all the things that you could add. That's called XP Realistic. The clouds are coming from something called X Enviro. There's a couple of camera effects I'm trying to learn to use right now. That's going to be called X Camera. There's also the ATC network that you'll see on my Twitch that I fly on, which is real life ATC. Look how fucking realistic that looks. That's called Pilot Edge. And I forget, there's another one I use. Oh, FS Economy, that actually makes it a game. You fly routes, you make money, you buy aircraft, you buy FBOs, you buy airlines. And I nailed that landing. That was awesome. All the shaking going on right now is from XP Realistic. It's a little bit over the top. But, you know, it's alright. Guys, I won't leave you behind. I won't not bring you great content. I will always be doing Star Citizen. And I will always make sure that I bring you the best that I can each and every week. Now this week is going to be tough. Ben can't talk to me this week because there's press all over the office. They're probably getting to see 3.0 so they can talk about it. But next week I'm sure he'll be back on the show because it will be the week after the Evocati got the game. I hope you accept my sincere apology that I made it seem like I was leaving you all behind. I am not. And again, I'm going to say this. If you think that I've left Star Citizen, I haven't. This is the calm before the storm. When 3.0 comes out, you're going to wish I was gone. No, you're not. You're going to have a lot of content from me. And make sure to look at the Discord channel for Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. You can always leave messages there. I've been pretty bad at getting back to people lately. I was trying to get a better job where I work. I don't think I did. So I have a lot more time to dedicate to y'all, and that will be 100% accurate. I promise. So I guess we're just driving around my airport, and we're going to go on the grass now because reasons. I think they make the grass way too bumpy in this game. I've driven on grass with aircraft, and it is never like this. So not realistic. At the very least, I hope those of you that listened to me all the way to the end on my 28-minute rant are finding that this game that I play is something that you might want to play yourselves. At the very most, I hope you understand that I'm apologizing to you. So here's what I'm going to do, all of you. I am going to be giving away this aircraft in a month on August 4th. Comment below with the hashtag. So it will be hashtag Aeroflights Cirrus CR20 Rocks. It's a long one, but put that in there. And for the winner of the Airfoil Labs Cessna 172, my favorite plane in the whole wide world in this game, can you please send me your email? Send me an email with your email and contact information to starcitizenaa@gmail.com. And folks, I appreciate you watching this until now. You've put up with a lot of me ranting today. I know. And I appreciate it. I really do. And I appreciate all of your support. Without you, my viewers, without you, my loyal viewers, I wouldn't still be here YouTubing and streaming today. So if you care about my stream is on twitch.tv/Nikki65. And I stream quite often these days, pretty much every night from 8:30 to about 11 or 12. And I think with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.